This episode of EDUCA is brought to you by the Denver Public Library, proud sponsor of today's conversation and your partner in learning all summer long. Don't miss out on Summer of Adventure, a fun, free program for kids and teens to read, make, and explore. Just for signing up, you'll get a backpack full of goodies, including discounted tickets to Rapids and Rockies games. Complete your adventure guide and earn free tickets to the Denver Zoo. Head to summerofadventure.org to get started. That's summerofadventure.org.
Hello, friends and families. Welcome to the EDUCA DPS podcast, where we inform families and connect communities. My name is Javier Ibarra, your host of the English version of this podcast. And today, you're going to notice a repeat guest on the EDUCA studio. We have Priscilla Hopkins, the Executive Director of Early Education here at Denver Public Schools. Priscilla, welcome to EDUCA once again. How are you today?
I am great. It's so great to be with you here today.
I want to, for the guests who haven't, for the audience who haven't heard you before, can you tell us a little bit about what you enjoy the most about your job?
Well, first of all, let me say it's a pleasure to get to be here with you and to talk with you about something I'm so passionate about. And I know that you are too. Yes, I think what I love the most about my job is bringing access to early education for our families, helping them access early childhood education for their children. So our early childhood education department supports schools that offer classes for children ages 3 and 4, and I just love seeing the children's and the family's enthusiasm as we give them opportunities to learn in that setting.
It's very clear that you are one of the many folks here at DPS who truly enjoy what you do. I mean, we've had so many conversations about this, and it's a topic that everyone wants to know more about. And it's also a topic that changes every year. If I'm not mistaken, whether the requirement is on our end or on the state side, it changes. And so that's what I want to get into with you today. But first, let me give the audience a little bit about the topic, right? Early education lays the foundation for lifelong learning here at DPS. It helps children develop critical and cognitive, social, and emotional skills, what we call the whole child. It boosts confidence, fosters curiosity, and it sets the stage for future academic success. I myself am a product of that. So in order to get our children set up for the academic journey, we would love for you to stick around through the end of this podcast and learn more about what we do here at DPS for our future scholars regarding early education and, of course, the UPK program. So Priscilla, my first question for you is, can you share with our audience the number of preschool children DPS serves?
Yeah, if you can believe it, 6,000 children.
Wow.
That are preschool students, ages 3 and 4. Most of them are 4-year-olds. And we also now have 5 schools that are dedicated to only early education students.
Well, that's really interesting because up until I started working here at DPS, I didn't know about that. We were visiting a school, I think it was Pascal Ledoux was the first school, and we actually, I think we had some interaction there and definitely met there. And I was just so impressed, and I was like, well, where are the older children? Where's the rest of the school?
Yeah.
And it come to find out their whole focus, their whole premise is early childhood education, which suggests to me as an outsider and parent or future parent here that it's one of the most important things, right? If we're differentiating between elementary, middle, and high school, but now we're adding a whole other section here that has some weight to it. So I want to ask you, what are some of the benefits of preschool for children and their families?
That's a great question. And, as you were talking, I'm just picturing Pascual Ledoux, which is such a beautiful early childhood center that we have in Denver Public Schools. But many of the classrooms across the district mirror those very same learning environments. So preschool programs help introduce the routine and the structure of the school day while they develop children's language, reasoning, and vocabulary skills. So children are also given opportunities to develop motor skills, large and fine motor skills, helping with their physical well-being. You mentioned the term whole child. By that, we mean everything: their physical development, their mental development, all of it coming together to really prepare the child to be a student.
My next question for you is, what opportunities do children in preschool receive that helps them prepare for kindergarten and then beyond, right? And then help them thrive in the next stage of their education, which is elementary school?
Well, you mentioned play, and there are opportunities to play and learn through that play. So when children are playing, they are developing their language skills. They are pretending things. They're creative. They're solving problems. They also participate in music, in art, in listening to books being read out loud to them. They participate in different aspects of science. Sometimes it's a project. Sometimes it's an individual discovery. But all of these things are consistent with their age. And that development, and in preparation for more advanced skills that are going to come later on. So in preschool, many children will begin to learn to read, to write their names, to understand basic math and number sense. And really, really importantly is that they learn to play and work with other children their own age and with adults as well. They have conversations. And they really develop those skills of kind of a back and forth conversation.
Something that really just stood out to me as we were visiting some of the other schools, right? We have Escalante Biggs, just to mention a couple there, is if you put yourself in the position of the children, right? What do kids want to do most of the day? It's play.
It's play.
It's play. And so if you add learning outcomes into what they already want to do, you have the motivational piece and the learning outcomes. And so it's that opportunity for kids to say, no, like, they didn't get a chance to play, I want them to play as well, right? And that's so revolutionary to me anyway, in a common misconception, right, that children want to share, right? Because it's about playing, it's about sharing with other kids. And
it is. You can't sit a young child down and say, okay, I'm going to give you a little lecture,
right,
and then you're going to tell me what you learned from my talking to you.
Right.
They have to discover it themselves. And that's where play with the different play centers come in. They're able to do that because that's how they develop, through those interactions that we call play.
Well, and also those buildings are intentional, right?
Yes.
Intentional in the sense that all of those kiddos are there, their learning environment is really conducive to that, right? To the play, to the learning. I mean, they have a tiny library, which was just very cute to me, right? How small the library was, but the books were big, right?
And there's a lot of them.
Yes. So shifting a little bit gears here, and I know a lot of parents are really interested in this. What is UPK, right? It's an acronym, obviously. What does it pertain to? Why is it important here for early education?
So UPK is Universal Pre-Kindergarten, and it's the Colorado program that provides 4-year-olds with at least, and many get more, 15 hours a week of preschool classes and programming. And these children have to turn 4 on or before October 1st. For that school year for them to be eligible. So it's it's for every child in the state of Colorado,
right,
to ensure that they get at least a half day of preschool, but most of the children in Denver Public Schools qualify for more than that and are able to go and attend preschool for a full day.
Well, let's just take a pause right there, right? What an amazing opportunity, especially for our community here in Denver, to have that access. Right? It's all about equity and giving access to the people who need it the most, but, to help everyone really, right? And in the sense that if it's really important, we're going to be able to offer this to you, and here it is.
Exactly. And like you said earlier, it lays the foundation for children to succeed in life and in their elementary years. So it's a really wonderful opportunity that I don't want any family in Denver to miss out on.
Absolutely, and that's why we're doing the show.
Yeah, yeah.
So my next question for you, and something, again, I think a lot of families, parents, caregivers are going to really want to know is, when should parents and families start planning to enroll their children in UPK? Is there a too early type of situation here?
Well, most parents usually start in January when the choice window opens, and it opens even earlier for the state of Colorado. So there are 2 forms to fill out. We'll get more on those details a little bit later, but usually in January. But I will tell you that it is not too late, that even for beginning school in August, we have a lot of space available still.
Right now we have
Right
space.
now, lots of schools with space for families to sign their child up and fill out the forms and get their child enrolled in a preschool classroom. Lots of opportunities, so it is not too late at all. In fact, we expect a lot of incoming applications this summer.
So Priscilla, you walked us through some of the benefits. You walked us through why is it important. Can you tell us what are some of the financial benefits of enrolling students in UPK? Does the UPK program have deadlines that parents need to be aware of in order to apply?
I mean, that's another great question. So, I mean, the financial benefit to families is that they're assured of 15 hours a week of preschool services. So that is tuition that they normally would not have to pay.
Wow.
And like I said, Denver preschool program for the residents of Denver allows them to even have more funding toward if the parents want full day preschool, which is what most of our parents want and obtain. So yes, it is registering through the state of Colorado and through Denver Public Schools, and there are many schools to choose from. And parents, and like I said, there's lots of space available. But it's interesting you say the financial implications. It's an investment in a child's future when we prepare them for success. So looking at it that way has a lot of financial benefits for that child and for that family later on in life. Yeah.
I know that there's a trend right now, because I'm very in tune with trends and what parents are saying, because it's part of the job, right? We're doing media and PR for Denver Public Schools, the largest school district in the state. It's important to know what parents are thinking and trends. And so there's a lot of trends out there that, parents really want to get their kids prepared for elementary school, and they're doing it by making sure they know how to read, making sure they know how to, a lot of the skills that you need in order to succeed, right? But there's also that skill of getting along with others, right? The whole child.
Yes,
right?
and that's called self-regulation.
There we go, that's it.
And self-regulation is what's needed. It's almost like self-control, but a little bit more than that. It's being able to learn how to focus, learning how to wait your turn, learning how to delay gratification.
Oof.
So that you wait a little bit longer for something better. That is what self-regulation is about. And it actually helps children learn how to read, because when you can focus your mind, you can begin to not only decode the letters and the sounds that the letters make, but you begin to learn how to understand what you're reading.
Right.
Because you learn how to think through while you're getting the input from the reading that you're doing. So it's all a lot of, it sounds very scientific and very complex, but when we start early with children, helping them with that self-regulation, helping them learn routine, helping them learn language, higher vocabulary, the meaning of words, all of that, that is going to be just a really large benefit for them their whole lives. And
absolutely.
It's going to make them successful in kindergarten and beyond.
Absolutely. I'm glad you said that, because I was just going to make that point, right? If you, as a young child, know how to self-regulate, then as an adult, you have practiced this throughout your career or educational career here at DPS, right?
Right.
To the point where, if self-regulation leads to learning outcomes, then there's another opportunity for us to improve learning outcomes and an opportunity for parents to get involved.
Right.
In order to, so that, there's that saying, it takes a village, right, to raise a child. And I think it might also take a village to educate a child. And so my next question, I want to preface with this next question, right? It's a two-part question, but I know that here at DPS, every year since I've been here, and since the inception of UPK, things have switched. There's always a new process. First you need to apply for the state, then you need to apply for DPS, or vice versa. Sometimes the funding, sometimes this, sometimes that, right? And so I want to kind of remind our folks that if you went through this UPK process last year, there are updates, right? And so that's why we have you here in order to bring that up. And so my next question, long preface, right? We know that UPK is a statewide program. What does that look like for us here at Denver Public Schools? What does UPK look like for us here?
So UPK is part of the Colorado Department of Early Childhood.
Which is a new department.
Right, which is a new department. And so it requires families, and DPS will help give that information, to register at that, what we call state level, through that department, but also register in Denver Public Schools. So the good news is that things haven't changed too much from last year to this year. Families still need to fill out 2 applications, one for Denver Public Schools, one for the state of Colorado. And in a minute, we're going to provide some phone numbers. There are people, and I know as a parent, I really would have appreciated this, because getting a human on the phone and helping them help you, kind of hold your hand through the process if you have any questions, is really, really helpful and important. And so we have people in Denver Public Schools that are phenomenal.
Real people.
Yeah, real people that
not
you can
AI,
call.
not robots.
No. And they will, you might think of a question that you hadn't thought of even before calling, just in conversation with people.
Because it pops up.
Exactly. So there is, don't be intimidated. There is help to fill out these applications. And I know as a mom, I would have needed it.
Absolutely.
Because it's just new. And especially if this is your first child going through the process, you want to make sure you understand. But like you said, because things change, processes change year over year, it's just someone from DPS will be there to answer questions. And then we have a phone number also for the Colorado Department of Early Childhood where they can answer questions as well.
Well, I just want to give a quick shout out to all of the DPS folks that are helping to answer these questions, because I think it speaks worlds to our customer service that we have people available.
So true.
And
our choice department is phenomenal.
Shout out to our choice department, and important for all our families, right? You're listening to this in English, but we do speak other languages here at DPS.
Absolutely.
And we have help in all of the important information that we have to share with families is translated or interpreted, 2 different things, in our 8 most common languages. And so whether you need help with the paper products, which is the translation, or you need help speaking with someone, which is the interpretation, we have people to help you. So please utilize that information. And Priscilla, what is the contact information for us? How do we find more information if we want to get in depth?
Yes, absolutely. So on your screen, the best contact website is earlyeducation.dpsk12.org. That will give families lots of information, not only about applications and services, but just about programs and how we design and provide early education in Denver Public Schools.
Before we go, Priscilla, is there a final message that you have for us?
Well, I just want to thank you for having me, first of all, and thank you to all the families and even DPS staff that are listening. But I just want to encourage everybody to tell their friends and family. You know, if you don't have a preschooler, you might know, you might have a friend with a preschooler at home. And I just encourage you to call the numbers that you saw on the screen and ask questions, ask all the questions, and just know that we have more, lots more spots available. And I just think it's so important to think about developmental needs of very young children and how important it can be to give them this opportunity. So thank you for letting me be here and share a little bit about that.
Absolutely. How lucky for us that we have someone here at DPS who is so passionate about the work, who is really good at what they do. So thank you again for being a repeat guest here on the EDUCA platform.
Well, thank you, and I hope to come back.
Absolutely. Well, friends and families, this concludes our EDUCA DPS podcast for today. I want to give a big thank you to our guest, Priscilla Hopkins, for sharing this important information about UPK and early childhood education. I'd like to ask all of you to please share this content if it was helpful for you, you think it might be helpful for someone else. Share it, like it, subscribe. Our YouTube channel is Denver Public Schools Plus, and you can find all of our other multimedia productions like this show. You can also find us on all of your major podcast platforms. All you have to do is search for the Denver Public Schools Podcast Network. Here at the EDUCA Studios, our gratitude goes out to the entire communications department who helps in some way, shape, or form produce this, share it, and make sure that you, the audience, are listening to. So also a big thank you to our proud Superintendent of Denver Public Schools, Dr. Alex Marrero, for his continued support to this show, the EDUCA DPS podcast, and all of our multimedia productions. Don't forget to tune in to our EDUCA DPS podcast, where the learning journey continues. And remember, important, don't forget to tell your children more often, I believe in you and I know you can do it. I'm Javier Ibarra. Until next time.